Howdy everyone, welcome back to my desk. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the difference between paper note-taking and digital note-taking. I get quite a few questions on my Instagram asking for some study tips on which is the best way to, study for an exam or how to write an essay, different things like that. So I thought I would kick off a bit of a study tips series to hopefully help you along the way with your education and your study journey. So I'll be going through a pros and cons list of each study method, and I'll also be sharing a little bit of what's working best for me at the moment. Also, don't forget to stick around until the end of the video. I'm holding a very special back to school giveaway, seeing that it's August and a lot of us are heading back to our studies. So yeah, stick around till the end, all the details will be there and you get to check out all the cool stationery items that I've got to give away to one lucky person. So let's get into it. Okay, paper note-taking versus digital note-taking. What is the best method for you? If we're looking at the digital side of things, some of the really cool things about it is that it's quick and efficient. Like, I don't know about you, but when the teacher is teaching something during class and I'm furiously writing notes down on paper, sometimes it's hard for my hand to keep up with the words that are being fed to us during the lesson. So I've found that typing can be really good to keep up with what's being said. Yeah, it's so much faster than writing things down on paper. Your digital notes, you're able to access them anywhere too, no matter what sort of device you've got. If you've got a computer or laptop at home or a tablet, you can take any of them, well, probably not your computer if it's a big bulky one, but you can take your laptop or your tablet to school or uni and access your files from home through the cloud, or you've got a USB that you can use at the library, or you can email them to yourself. There are many different ways that you can access your notes away from home. Also, if your handwriting is on the messier side, I know my handwriting does get a little bit messy sometimes. I'm rushing down to write notes and I've come home to look at it later to revise it and I cannot for the life of me figure out what I've written. It's a rare occasion, but it does happen, believe me. Anyway, typing's really good to be able to have that clear-cut text and you can keep everything neat and organized without having to worry if your handwriting is too messy to read. I think another big factor also for some people is that it's great for the environment. A lot of students these days are going paperless and looking to take notes digitally to reduce their impact on the environment. And if you've got lots of books and lots of stationery items like I do, ultimately that's going to be quite a few more things that are ending up in landfill and a lot more trees being cut down for that paper. So using that technology, the environment will thank you. So moving on to the more negative side of digital note-taking, sometimes technology can fail us. There's been a couple of times when I've written an assignment or I'm studying during class and my laptop will crash on me. There was one time when I was writing an assignment, an essay, probably would have been 2 days before it was due. Would not recommend. Please don't do that. Always leave yourself time to write essays before it's due. Save yourself the stress. But yeah, when I was writing that assignment, I was getting through it, probably about 3/4 of the way done, almost there, powering through it, and my laptop just dies on me, crashes, and I was gutted. I started it back up again and the work wasn't there. I hadn't backed it up like I should have. Yeah, you can't imagine the frustration and the stress I was feeling, especially 2 days before it was due and I'd lost everything. So yeah, technology can fail us sometimes. You could also just completely forget your device or forget to charge it. I'm guilty of both those things, rocking up to uni and I've forgotten my laptop, or I've gone to turn it on and it won't start because I have no charge there. Yeah, it's not like a book in that sense where you can just take it along, open it up. It doesn't need to be charged. It's just there and you can write on it. Also, I have been looking at a little bit of the research around students writing notes on paper compared to digital note-taking. And the studies have found that digital note-taking wasn't found to be as effective for memorising information, and therefore your comprehension of the whole topic, the whole subject, may be lower. So students were getting more words down, but were they memorising it as effectively? Which moves us into paper note-taking. So looking at the pros and looking at this study again, the researchers found that even though students didn't write as much down on their page, they had a stronger conceptual understanding of the subject and the information that was being taught to them, and the recollection for tests and exams was easier for them. So that means better grades for students. But I know this isn't the case for everyone. Everyone's different, everyone has different learning methods, and I'll get more into that later. Another great thing about paper learning is that if you're a visual or a kinesthetic learner like I am, handwriting highlighting your notes is basically putting those learning styles into practice. You are visually writing things out and you are using your hand, using your body to be able to interact with your learning. And you can get very creative in the process. Insert some of the notes I've been able to get creative with. Yeah, I love writing notes down and adding so many colours and highlighting, drawing diagrams, just being able to put my creative brain onto the page. I know you can do that in some respects on a computer and on a tablet, but I don't know, it's just not the same for me. Anyway, oh, and I forgot to mention one of the things to consider with digital note taking compared to paper. I guess one of the pros towards paper is that it won't cost as much as buying a big device, a big piece of technology for your note taking. I think it's important for you to weigh up a few different things that we're talking about today and decide whether typing up your notes or however you would do it on your piece of technology, whether it is worth that investment, worth that money that you're going to put into it. There's a lot of different tools and devices out there and it can get a little bit overwhelming to choose one. I know it took me a while to decide which computer to get and I researched for months and it was a big decision to be able to afford that, but it's been worth it, so worth it. It's definitely helped me with the studies at home and a lot of other things that I do at home as well. So yeah, then paper and stationery. Although things can get quite expensive, ultimately all you need is a paper and a pen and you can write things down. But yeah, like if you're a bit of a stationery nerd like me, adding those designer stationery items, it can get quite expensive once your collection grows. But looking at more of the cons of manual paper-based note taking, you're using paper. It's the opposite as digital. You're not going paperless. More trees are being cut down for paper and books. So sad. I love my paper note taking. All your pens and all your stationery items are things that will end up in the waste, in landfill. And mistakes aren't as easy to cover up too. I know that I have to get my whiteout out or put a big line through it, or you have to rip out a page. It's just not as aesthetic to fix your mistakes on paper necessarily than it is to press the backspace button a few times or highlight some things and delete everything and start all over again. So there's that to consider as well. And finally, your paper notes aren't as accessible anywhere as digital note taking would be. I know that there's a company called White Lines Paper where you can write your notes and take a photo with your phone through their app and it'll upload it to whichever device you like, which is really cool. You can access those notes from home. But yeah, you need to carry around your books everywhere if you're taking notes down on paper. Then you've also got your pencil case, your pens, whatever else, your folders. Might be a bit of a heavier bag for you, a lot more things to carry in your arms. So with all that being said though, you may be wondering, what's my take on this? Well, I do both, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do too. But I want to emphasize it's ultimately the way you study and the way you use your time to learn effectively that makes all the difference. It's not necessarily, oh, digital note taking is better than paper. Like most students will do better with that, or 100% of students will do better if you're taking notes down on paper. It's not the case like that at all. I think it's only been in the last 2 years when I've discovered the best way for me to learn, and that's a combination of digital note taking and paper note taking. There's not a clear-cut answer for everyone. You need to do a little bit of experimenting to see what's the right balance for you. It may be one completely or the other completely, or it could be like me, a different mixture of them both. So I thought I would give you a rundown of how I take notes during class. I've got a few examples here. Also, let me know in the comments down below how you take notes at the moment. Are you a pure digital note taker, or are you a paper note taker, or a bit of both? So yeah, it's taken me quite a while, as I mentioned before, to figure out the best balance of how I take notes. This is a book from my first year of uni. I used to write everything. I didn't really take any digital notes, but yeah, we'll do little diagrams in my book and stick and print out tutorial notes from when we did class notes and stick them in here. A lot of paper, and I was finding that I was just writing things down. I wasn't actively learning anything. So yeah, I also tried digital note taking as well, and yes, Kiko, I know you're there. Kiko's on the other side of the door and she's trying to get in. But yeah, I was just finding it was the same type of thing. Like I was just typing things down and I wasn't actively learning anything. Like I wasn't taking in the information. So after my first year of uni, my grades were okay, but they weren't the best. So I wanted to improve and I wanted to learn things and actually remember what I was being taught in class. So here is my secret concoction of what I do at the moment. It's the perfect balance for me, and my grades have skyrocketed. Like I've never done better really. Hold on a second, I just need to let Kiko in. She wants to be in here. In you come, come on. Say hello to our friends. join in the action. Okay. You'd think I'd learn. Yeah, you'd think I'd learn. I just recorded the whole end of this video and the space on the SD card ran out. So here we go, take 2. Here's a rundown of what I do for class, how I take my notes. First up, before a lecture, I will download a PowerPoint of the lecture slides or a PDF, whatever type of file it is, onto my computer, and I'll just have a quick read to see what we're learning the next day. And if I have time, like I don't always have time, I'll have a quick Google search of anything that I'm not too sure of, any concepts that I'm not familiar with, just to get a little bit of an understanding before class the next day. But as I said, it doesn't always happen, probably a rare occasion that happens. And then the next day, moving into the actual lecture, I've got my laptop with me and I'll be completely in the zone listening to what's being said. And if there's anything that's not on the slides that is being talked about, like extra little gems of knowledge that we may need for an exam or an assignment, I'll add a comment to those slides and just write them down on the side of the page so I can refer back to them later. And fast forward again to the end of the day, or whenever it is that I go back to revise everything, I will summarise the main points of that lecture or class, mainly on my computer. I'll write down a quick draft of what I want my notes to include. So yeah, the main points that were spoken about in that lecture that I know will be important for exams or assignment tasks. And then this is the time when, if I am not sure of anything still after the class, like it's always important to ask directly to your teacher for help. But if I haven't had the chance to do that, I'll try and look it up on my computer or in a textbook myself. So that could be, trusted websites, research articles on YouTube, especially for anatomy and physiology. I like to watch Crash Course and Khan Academy. They're really good resources to be able to have someone else explain things to you to try and get a better grasp on a concept. I use textbooks, assigned textbooks that we're given to the class too. So once I've learnt what I didn't know, I'll add that to the summary as well. I'll probably forget all that information at a later date if I don't write it down. So all of that's in one big document or one summary. All of that first chunk, that first section of note taking has been digital, but this is where we move into the paper-based learning. So I'll get that summary all finished, grab one of my books, grab a subject book. I'm using this one to write down neurological physiotherapy notes at the moment, and I will get my stationery, pick out a colour scheme, draw out a rough layout of how my notes are going to set out on the page, so I'm leaving space for any diagrams that I want to draw. I don't always add diagrams, but I will do that. And then grab my pens and start writing everything out, pretty much copying word for word what I've written on my custom summary that I've written up from the day on my computer. So that's how we end up with notes like this. But yeah, as I said, I write word for word from the summary into the book, but I don't mind that so much because that summary that I've written is custom to my learning. Like all of that is in my own words or paraphrasing of other sources that I've used to learn what I needed to learn. So yeah, the end products are the notes that you see on my Instagram, Abby Studies, if you want to check that out. But I find that that's the best method for me. As I mentioned before, like I used to just write down word for word what was on the PowerPoint slides from the lecture, and that was my revision, whereas that wasn't quite working for me. So I make quite custom summaries and pop them in a book that I can always refer to later, and I really like that. I have a clear-cut page with all the information that I need that will be relevant for exams, for assignments, and even my future practice. I'll be looking back at these notes when I'm unsure of something and I haven't used that knowledge in a while. I'll go back to these notes and look up what I need to, which is why I put so much effort into them, because I know that I will be referring back to them in the future. So yeah, as you can see, it's quite a mixture of digital note-taking and paper-based note-taking, and it's quite custom to my learning needs. It's taken me quite a while to figure out the best way that I learn. And I think that's the way for everyone else as well. There's no 100% guaranteed study method that's going to help you. You need to do a little bit of experimenting to see if you can find that balance that you best learn at. So that could be completely digital note-taking, or that could be completely paper-based learning. There we go. Hope you guys found some of that helpful. And now we'll move on to the exciting part of the video. Drum roll, please. So introducing my super cool back to school giveaway. It's also a bit of a tied in giveaway with hitting 15,000 followers on Instagram as well. I'm really excited. So thankful for all of you for following me there. But yeah, here's what you can win. There's 3 A5 lined notebooks from Typo. Really love these designs. A little black pencil case also from Typo. And inside there's a Memo Me sticky notes tabs page. And I'll use that on on my notebooks as well. I find them really helpful. And finally, a little pack of pens that look like pencils. I thought they were cute and have added them into the giveaway as well. So yeah, if you'd like to have a shot at winning all of those, they're a great little package to start off some paper-based note-taking for your education and your studies this year or this semester. Entries will close on the 14th of August at 8 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time. I know not everyone's familiar with Australian time, but look it up if you're not sure when that is. I'll have everything down below in the description box. To enter, all you need to do is give this video a thumbs up, and down in the comments below let me know which book is your favourite design. I honestly cannot pick. It's just, they're all really pretty. I'm so jealous of whoever wins this. It's some great stationery to win. If you've made it this far into the video, thanks so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you did find this helpful in some way, and if you'd like to see some more study tips videos like this. And don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more videos and contents in the future. Thanks guys, hope you stay well, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye! Oh, finally! It's taken me forever. So glad I got that done.